I weigh 112 pounds, steady.
My name's Heather. I've been struggling with anorexia secretly since I was a freshman in high school. And it just hit me harder like last year and a half ago. And now I'm just trying to get over it and move on with my life.
I really do regret not eating and letting myself go like I did, because not only did it affect my body, but I completely lost a year of school because I just wasn't thinking right.
I take a class at Spokane Falls, and it's a costume designing class, and I quite enjoy it just because I do get to design the costumes and make them from scratch mostly. I stopped taking classes to do with fashion for a while, and I forgot that I wanted to do it, and then I helped on a set with costume design, and I remembered immediately. I was like, oh my god, this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to be in fashion. So it just really helps me not lose focus on what I want to do with my life.
I always read Cosmo in 17, and the girls in there were much different than I was. And everyone always told me I was fine, but in my head I just knew I didn't look like the girls in the magazine that everyone wanted to be with.
We're very shaped by the messages we receive within our social relationships. And today, many Americans, most of us, we have relationships with portraits and stories that we encounter in the mass media.
I always just felt bad about my body. When I was in high school, I stopped eating, and then my first year of college I gained a lot of weight, and I felt disgusting. And so I stopped eating again.
Most studies show that college students start feeling less positive about themselves within 3 minutes of looking at that kind of magazine. So it's really kind of a reawakening of who they are, what they're capable of, trying to extend this concept of what's attraction.
I always kind of wanted to be a model. One summer I went to a modeling agency, and they actually basically told me I was too fat, and I only weighed 118 pounds at the time. And they told me I should lose at least another 1.5 inches off my hips when they were already only 37 inches. And I was just like, okay, and then I dropped literally 10 pounds within the next 2 weeks.
I think I have gained weight. I have no idea. I don't own a scale just because of the reasons that, I had an ex-boyfriend who had a scale, and when we were dating, I would weigh myself 4 or 5 times a day when I was over there. I would skip breakfast, and then I'd skip lunch, and I'd just eat dinner, or I'd have a really small lunch and have a really small dinner. But now I try to eat breakfast. I try so hard to eat breakfast now. It's just so hard because not eating it for the longest time really makes me sick now. And I make sure I eat lunch, and I make sure I eat dinner, and then if I remember, because I'll forget I'm hungry. I've trained my body to not realize it's hungry, and that's what you do. You ignore the hunger pains, you ignore the fact that you're going to pass out and fall on the ground. I get about 700 or 800 calories a day. So I'm not gaining or losing weight at this moment because I'm sustaining the starvation in my body. Yeah, see, anorexic see. Being filmed eating pizza was kind of weird because I'm like, oh, look at I'm a pig, but I only had one slice. And I'm still kind of in the mode of, I can't look fat or whatever.
It's really sort of strategic communication to sell us something that we might not need. That beauty can't be natural. Beauty can only be achieved through the purchase of products. So you'll see young girls perhaps at a Starbucks drinking high-calorie drinks and looking at fashion magazines simultaneously and concerned about their weight. And you go, oh, the advertising industry is providing both of those pictures simultaneously. So everybody turns out a loser in that proposition.
You look at the little, CoverGirl ads in magazines, and they have perfect skin. Some women on print ads aren't even real. They just take different parts of different women in computer, put it together on computer, so she's a perfect woman. And I think that's terrible because it puts this unrealistic view on life and what women really look like.
We've all seen these images of what we do with pixels and what we can do with changing how a person looks And if I don't have a symmetrical face, I can do it. I can enlarge the pupils because we're attracted to people with large pupils. I can change skin tone, skin color, skin hair. I can do all that on magazine advertisements almost better than I can in live video, live footage. But with the pictures, that's all studio work these days. And so it used to be the camera never lies. Now the camera always lies.
You have a courageous example like Kate Winslet, the actress, who, after she was profiled in a major magazine, she went on several programs and said, you know, those are not my thighs. They really slimmed down my legs.
They take away all, you know, the naturalness to a woman and they make it what they want it to be. And I think to them it's just making, you know, the clothes look good or the makeup look good. They don't see that people really look at these things with a deeper thought than just look at the pretty shoes.
I think they're just smarter advertising when you don't use people in it, because you're not trying to compare yourself to the person in it, you're just wanting the product that they're selling, rather than selling the person in the image. You wouldn't know it was actually about shaving your legs, would you? Just like, look at the pretty lady. See, this is the kind of ads everyone should do. It seems smarter, a lot safer for society.
Well, I think we have to look more broadly and say certain images as the only desirable images shouldn't be relentlessly marketed to children, because it's going to leave many of them feeling like they have to ruthlessly diet, they have to exercise frantically to have certain qualities of appearance, or they have to feel terrible when they don't meet those expectations.
It was really disturbing now that I think about it. But then I was just like, oh, I want to be like them. I want to be able to do print ads and you know, be on TV. And when you're on TV, you're skinny. When you're an actress, you're skinny. When you're, you know, famous, you're not fat. You're just not. Advertising is full of hypocrites, just because the whole media frenzy right now is the whole, you know, oh, we need to get the skinny girls out, but then they still hire them, they still put them in the ads. It's just sad because they will have those articles in there about, oh, the struggling anorexic and how she overcame it. And then they have the anorexic models in the magazine, just, you know, displaying the clothes that they want people to buy. And it's a sad thing, because they don't even care about the women. All they care about is the clothes they're selling. They don't care that the women are starving themselves or vomiting or doing drugs in order to just stay skinny. They're just like, well, she fits the clothes.
And I just thought it was really unfair that they aren't making clothes for everyone. They're making clothes for this mold that they think everyone should be in, and it's ridiculous to me.
I don't think it's okay for these big corporations to just shrug their shoulders and say, well, tough. We're only responsible for making profits that we can report to our shareholders. I think they ought to see themselves as having some social responsibility for the well-being of people.
I wanted to make clothes for real women. I wanted to make them in all sizes, all shapes, because I hated the fact that I'd go shopping and my legs were too long and my hips were too wide. And, you know, I couldn't fit in the t-shirts I wanted to fit in because I had too big of boobs.
People starting to second guess, what exactly is this about? Why do we ascribe to it? Why am I buying these products? One, to do away with any kind of aging. The second, to look more perfect. What is perfect? And the concept of perfect. And I think that comes from being in an image society that we live in.
I want to get in with the right magazine or editing company and just, you know, prove that change is a good thing, that doing this would be a beneficial thing to our society.
I really love the Dove ads. I mean, they're not, you know, they're not about anything specific, but they're not fat, they're not skinny, they're nothing. They're just very normal women who don't get airbrushed, who don't wear makeup in the ads, and they're beautiful women. They're always beautiful women that they pick, and they're just normal women. And I think they have the right idea on what they need to be doing, what advertisers should be using
people like the Dove soap campaign has been trying to stretch that notion of what constitutes beauty. They're still trying to sell their product in the end, but using a different standard for beauty, and that's like a good start. I mean, I think that's a good start for taking some responsibility because they understand the impact of having that very narrow definition of beauty. There are standards of beauty that are somewhat universal, but they were never associated with a product. It's the associating physical image with products that creates this mass market. And at one time, if people lived in a village of 100 people, there were maybe 10% who were more beautiful than somebody else. But with media, the beauty images are exaggerated. I mean, you'll see, if you look at a magazine, everybody's beautiful. If you look at the television shows, everybody's beautiful. And so you're competing with a false sense of what everybody else looks like. And it creates those images, and it keeps showing them to us over and over and over. We're sometimes fearful that we can't influence the companies who produce and make this product. But really, if we start to organize ourselves and we work towards influencing magazines, newspapers, television, advertisers, and so on, we can make a difference, but we really have to start pretty young.
I think they need to realize that they have a lot more power than they know. Little girls are looking at those pictures. Little girls are reading those stories.
My wife teaches second grade. She has second graders who are pinching their thighs and saying they're fat. Not the boys, but the girls are already doing this. They're pulling on each other. They have the concept of what they have to look like. They're already thinking of dieting as young as that age. Those are negative consequences.
I was that little girl who wanted to look like those people because I thought they were real and they weren't.
Well, one reason why I want to do marketing is because I'll be behind the scenes. It would just be a lot easier to be comfortable with who I am, knowing that I'm not one of the models. I don't need to look like that. It's not necessary for me to lose the weight anymore now that I'm the one who's putting your pictures in the magazines rather than, having to parade myself around.
We want to look like ourselves. We want to be beautiful within ourselves. We want to feel pretty on the inside and grow up comfortable with whoever we are. And when we do that, then we will be pretty.
But lately, I've been really doing well, and I can see myself for who I am right now, and I feel good inside my skin. So I think it's just one of those things that I'm just going to have to live with now and make it a really strong mental note to myself that I need to not forget to eat. I need to remember that I am beautiful as I am, and that whether or not I gain 10 pounds or lose 5, I'll be fine either way, and it's not going to make a difference on who I am inside.